This is the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
From 98.1 CHFI Studios in Toronto, Canada.
Hey Toronto, this is Ed Sheeran.
This is Kelly Clarkson.
Hi, this is Bryan Adams.
This is Adele.
This is Madonna.
It's Michael Bublé, and you're listening to the Pooja and Gurdeep Show. It's fun. They're amazing.
Back to school. Back to school. Whoa. I love that we can just do that because we're doing a back to school pod. I can finally do my Adam Sandler.
Oh, back to school. I got to say, I still think that I'm a new mom. I know I've had a couple years now. My kids just turned 3, but it's still so hard. I'm always struggling with, am I doing the right thing? Like I have instinctually, I think I know what I'm supposed to do. And then I start second guessing, oh no, this is what I did. And then I start to think about the repercussions of what I did.
What are they, in kindergarten?
No.
No,
They're
not
like
even.
Yeah, they're in preschool.
Oh, man, you can't mess this up, can you?
No, you can. Like, for instance, they've been in summer camp, and it's been great. I thought that they're going to really enjoy summer camp. And for the most part, I think they do. But every day they'd be like, I don't want to go to summer camp. I don't want to go to summer camp. And I feel bad that I didn't really give them a summer. Like, they don't know, because they're too young, they don't know that they get summers off. So they've just been continuing in camp.
It's all one big thing for them. It's all the same.
So I started doing a bit of a countdown to the end of camp to the beginning of holidays.
You told them about holidays?
Yes. And so they started going, one more sleep. You know, like this, they were so
Do
excited.
they even know what a holiday is?
Yes, they do. They remember holidays because they were off for March break. They were off for Christmas break. So they're like, holidays, holidays. They wake up every day. They're like, it's holidays. We don't have to go to camp. It's holidays.
Why do they have a slight Indian accent?
Because that's how they talk. So they're so happy that it's the holidays right now. And now how am I going to snap them back into back to school? Because they're so excited to not be at school. Their camp is at their school, by the way.
Right. I mean, how stressful is camp and what they're doing now? The idea of a holiday is like this holy grail.
I don't know. They're not really doing much during the holidays. Maybe they just like the idea of not having to leave and just being able to play with one another. But like I said, I don't know what I'm doing. And I could use some tips.
Well, two things. One tip, put on Billy Madison for them. That'll get them excited to just go back to school. Oh, back to school.
And when I said I needed tips, I meant from other parents.
Okay. Well, I had one fake tip and one real tip. I'll let you figure out which is which. The other one, I'm not a parent, but how about like just be honest with your kids about what's happening? I think you're doing the right thing. You're counting down to holiday, but maybe start counting down to back to school as well. Tell them where they're going to be going on September the 2nd.
Don't like spring it on them.
No, and certainly don't lie, because let me tell you a story. When I was that age at preschool, I think my parents knew I was going to have anxiety about not being, because it's tough. It's like the first time you're not at home as a kid, right? You're all you know is like the inside of your home and your backyard, and that's about it. That's your whole day. So my parents did not tell me where I was going. And they also said they were going to be there the whole day with me.
So wait, they just put you in the car and you had no idea where you're going?
They said we were going somewhere, but we're going to be with you all day. And so they dropped me off, and my dad's like holding my hand. They dropped me off, and they're like, this is your teacher. This is Miss Karen. And I'm like, great. And then I guess this is when my dad just kind of like low-key moonwalked out of there, made the disappearance.
I'll tell you right now, a moonwalk is not a low-key way of disappearing from a room.
Yeah.
It's like actually more obvious. A lot of attention on you.
Especially on cement, because this was outside. I still remember this really well. And I remember turning around, holding Miss Karen's hand, and I just saw my dad's car driving off. And I don't remember what happened next.
The skid marks.
Yeah. The skid marks were in my underpants because I was terrified. I was told, because they had to call my parents. Apparently, I went into a profanity-laced tirade when I realized my dad was gone. And it was so shocking.
Wait, how old are you?
How old are you in preschool? Were like 3, 4? I don't know.
Oh my! Where did you learn those words?
That's the thing. I don't know, because my parents, I swear to you, I've never heard them swear. My dad never said a swear word. My mom has never said a swear word. I don't know what I was watching or what type of pop culture I was exposed to at that age, but I knew it. And apparently I went off and said some horrible things.
You're just like, bleep, 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 you left me here, bleep, bleep, bleep. Who the bleep do you think you are?
This is the podcast. Can I just repeat what I said? Can I do that?
No, you can't.
Steph says no.
No, you can't. And then what happened?
Use your imagination. My parents got a call like on day one. They're probably like, this kid's going to be trouble. It's like day one of preschool. We're already getting called in.
Okay. I think the parenting advice in that was don't moonwalk out of a room when your kids are in there, because it will just draw more attention to you. And don't lie to your children.
Be honest. Tell Sia and Bodhi they are going back to school on September 2nd. You're not going to be there. And them's the breaks, kids.
And also, stop swearing, kids.
Yeah.
Why are you swearing at such a young age?
How about some better advice? Parenting mentor Shantelle Bisson is here, and she's got some wonderful advice to get your kids ready for back to school in terms of getting them to bed earlier, trying to manage their devices.
Yeah, and just making that first day of school a lot smoother for you.
Enjoy the pod.
The Pooja and Gurdeep Podcast.
This is the Pooja and Gurdeep Podcast.
It's back to school, and that means back to routine. Sometimes easier said than done. Joining us now is parenting mentor Shantelle Bisson with some practical advice to make that transition smoother and less overwhelming. Good morning, Shantelle.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you two? Nice to be here with you. Thank you.
We're so good. Thank you for being here. 'Tis the season, back to school, whether people want to accept it or not. But are there common mistakes that parents make when they're trying to sort of snap their kids into that back to school routine?
I think you answered that question in the question.
All right, then. I'll see you later.
Yeah, I gotta go. No, the common mistake is trying to snap them back into routine, and the expectation. Like as adults, we're used to pivoting and doing things sort of on turning on a dime, right? Just because we have to. As you go through life, you get curveballs thrown at you all the time, and you're like, oh, okay, well, I just have to pivot in this situation. Well, kids aren't really used to that, right? Everything is structured for them when they get up, what their programs are, where they're going. We drive them. They aren't used to having to pivot because of traffic or something that gets thrown at them. So what parents need to be focusing on, and I used to do this with our girls, was about 2 weeks out from going back to school, we really started to focus on dialing back sleep time. Instead of you go to bed when you decide when you're tired or when you're back from hanging out with your friends, we started to be like, okay, we're going to go to bed 15 minutes earlier tonight. And then as you get closer and closer to school time, before you know it, you're actually in the schedule. And we did the same thing in return with breakfast and activity and whatnot. So we started to introduce school schedule living long before school started, which was about, for us, 2 weeks out.
So when you talk about that adjustment, gradually adjusting them with their bedtimes, with breakfast time, are we talking about 15-minute intervals? How do you, practically speaking, how do you do it?
Well, as they get older, right, that gets harder because teens are like, no, you don't tell me anything. But when they were little, we found the 15-minute was useful and helpful because they're going to bed 15 minutes earlier, they're waking up 15 minutes earlier. And before you know it, you don't have a kid getting up at 11, then having to get up at 7 a.m. to be ready for school the day of, right? So that's why we did the 15-minute because the math, when it's mathing, it usually works out to about 14 days.
Okay, I imagine one of the biggest battles when you're trying to get them sort of back into the school routine is cutting back on the screen time, right? Easier said than done, I'm sure. And this is what parents need to know. Do you have any tips on trying to win that battle on cutting back the screen time? Because that ain't easy.
Well, this is where I sometimes get into a lot of trouble because I'm not a screen time advocate anyway. I feel like parents use screen time as a distraction. And, I think what we're witnessing, my daughter's 36 and her husband is 42.
And you're still trying to cut back the screen time.
I'm still trying to cut back her screen time. But my point is that I think what we're seeing is a lot of people are having their children older. Like Yannick and I had our daughter when we were 19. And so you have a lot more energy, and you're not as stressed out when you have your kids young. And as you get older, as a parent, you're in your own patterns of what you need to decompress and how you like to spend your downtime. So I feel like screen time has sort of become parents want theirs, so they give children more screen time than they necessarily need or require so that they can have their own. So I have an issue with screen time in principle anyway. So I think that what parents need to do and what I encourage parents to do when they ask me, how do I get my kid to spend less time on it? Find activities outside of the phone, outside of TV that they like to do that you can do with them. Because nobody likes to do anything alone, right? Let's be honest, we're social creatures. So if parents will take that time that they allow their child to just sit in front of a screen and be distracted with something that they can do that they like to do together. Right now I'm in Marina World and Cottage Land and whatnot. Our grandson recently discovered he loves to go in the canoe, right? Mm-hmm. So we can go dump him in the canoe. We can be out on the canoe for 90 minutes. He will not know that it's 90 minutes, but we know. So find ways to spend time with your child in nature, doing physical activity that is fun for them and do it with them. And that naturally helps remove that stress of like, how do I get my kid to not spend so much time on the screen, you know? Find things, relate to them, spend time with them.
Speaking of stress, on the actual day, like back to school day, it can be a very stressful morning. Any tips on sort of like small things families can do to just make that day go a little bit smoother?
Yeah, I mean, you know, as I said earlier, Yannick has been in the film industry for 40 years. So a lot of times I was doing the back to school thing alone. And that can be a lot when you have three. Our girls the two were close and then the little one was really spread out. So they were for a very short time all at the same school and then they were at different schools. So it became very important very early on to have structure that they could participate in to be a help to me so that I wasn't a psycho losing my cool all morning long and the night before. So that's another thing that we did is like, you know, lay out your outfit. You know, what do you want to wear? What do you want your vibe to be? And sometimes our middle girl who ended up being a stylist and work in fashion, she was like, oh, I've got the whole month plan, you know? So she was easy. She was like, I know what I'm going to wear. And then the little one had her own vibe. But, you know, help your child to understand that there's no harm in them making their own decisions and their own choices. And it sets them up for becoming, you know, independent and like having their own personality and understanding how life works. Like life doesn't just happen. You have to make life happen. So by allowing them to participate in the, okay, let's make lunches together the night before. Let's lay out outfits together, you know, and just get them thinking ahead so nobody's stressed out. And again, going back to the very first question is, okay, well, what can we do to make getting ready for back to school simpler? Start before. Like now we're 13 days out. So parents can start thinking, okay, oh, hey, that's a great idea. Let's start some routine. You know, let's dial back the clock. And then that makes it so that you're not waking up a tired, you know, 13-year-old. A mess.
Now I'm picturing your daughter with the Alicia Silverstone closet from Clueless. And you choose the outfit on the computer and it all comes together. Everybody wanted that.
My husband's in the Canadian film industry. We don't have closets like that in our house.
I don't think anybody does. I think that was just that movie.
Alicia.
Okay, so look, it's coming up hot. The first day back to school for most people is September 2nd. It's very close. So you mentioned some of the things physically you can do. Lay out the clothes, have those, you know, get ready that way with sleep and all that. But what's one conversation every parent should try and have with their kid ahead of the first day back to school?
Okay, I love that question.
Thank you.
I love that question because I think so often as parents, we put our own anxiety and relationship to school on our children inadvertently. I think every single parent out there wants their kid to have a better experience in life, period, carte blanche, right? Like you want them to have a better school experience and you want them to have better jobs. You want them to have, you know, find love quick, have it be great love, have there never be any trauma and any drama. That's not realistic. So I think when parents are feeling that way and thinking that way, they tend to ask questions from the, are you okay? What are you afraid of? What are you worried about? How can I help? Instead of, hey, school is happening. What can you not wait to do? Like, what did you miss? Like, what about school can you not wait to get back to? And flip it on its head. But I think as humans, we're so into the experience of everything being a trauma that we forget that there's more beauty and great stuff and juicy, good stuff to focus on because we're so fed, you know, focus on the garbage. And I think by conditioning our kids at a young age to focus on the good stuff, like friends they haven't seen, you know, their outfits that they love to put, like whatever it is that you know your kid really gets lit up from, ask them those kinds of questions. Lead positively, you know, get them excited about it.
We're chatting with parenting mentor Shantelle Bisson. You can learn more about Shantelle and shop for her books at chantellebisson.com, or you can follow her on Instagram at Shantelle Bisson. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. This was a good time.
Thanks for listening to the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
Listen to Pooja and Gurdeep live weekday mornings from 5 to 9.
Only on 98.1 CHFI.
Toronto's perfect music mix.